Learning tarantula husbandry on YouTube can be dangerous, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now this may seem antithetical coming from me since half the videos on my channel are about tarantula husbandry, but hear me out. YouTube is an amazing platform, and pretty much anyone with a cell phone that can record videos can start a channel. You can see videos from creators from all over the world, and I love it because you have access to all kinds of information and all types of people's experiences. But its biggest asset is also its biggest flaw. There is no arbiter of information on YouTube. You don't have to pass any tests or get certified to post videos that are teaching people how to do things. I mean, anyone can post a video pretty much making any claim that they want, and even the experts in fields make mistakes from time to time. And there is a possibility that the expert that you think you're learning from is not an authority on the topic at all. We've all heard the phrase buyer beware, but when it comes to learning things on YouTube, especially animal husbandry, even more specifically tarantula care and husbandry, we need to realize that we're the buyers of that information, or that more importantly, you're the buyer of that information. So you need to be aware of what it is you're taking in and view any video, any advice with a healthy amount of skepticism. The main problem really is that the algorithm is misleading. And this isn't just on YouTube. This can also apply to the algorithms on Twitter or Facebook or pretty much any social media. These algorithms are designed to push content that has been proven people will watch and share. The whole aim for these companies is to keep people using their platforms and engaging in the content. So we need to be aware that the value of the information is not based on the amount of subscribers a channel has or even the amount of views that it has gained. Sometimes the videos with the most views can be the videos with the oldest information. And sometimes the channels with the most amount of subscribers can have the least amount of knowledge and experience. You see this sometimes in channels that maybe focus mainly on reptiles or fish or some other kind of exotic pet, and they decide to make a video on tarantula husbandry or how to take care of a scorpion. They have hundreds of thousands or even millions of subscribers. Their videos are getting tens or hundreds of thousands of views, and it's very simple to make the mistake of coming across a video from one of these channels and assuming that because of the amount of views and the amount of subscribers that this must be good information. It would be like me making a video on how to keep saltwater fish even though I have no experience. People may look and see that I have 40,000 subscribers and getting thousands of views per video and just assume that whatever I say is truth. People put too much stock in the number of subscribers and the amount of views. And the amount of views could be based on just the amount of time the video's been on the platform or many other factors, none of which could be that it's good solid information. Just kind of as a general rule, YouTube or Google will suggest the videos first that have the most views, which makes sense from a business angle, not so much from a care and husbandry angle. And as we all know, care and husbandry is constantly evolving and changing. So that puts us in a situation where the videos that have the most views have been around the longest, and thus their information could possibly be way out of date. So be careful which videos you trust. Just because a channel has millions of subscribers doesn't mean the care video they just made on the tarantula they just bought is gonna be reliable information. I mean, high quality videos and charismatic personalities does not make someone an authority. And I'm talking about myself here. I've been in the hobby for quite a while now, but I'm still learning stuff all the time and I still make mistakes. And I encourage people all the time to just use my information as a starting point for doing their own research. I am not the be all end all when it comes to information, nor should anyone else be really. So when you look at a care and husbandry video and you see how many views it has, always look and see how long ago it was published. And be wary taking advice on how to keep tarantulas from a channel that mainly focuses on keeping snakes or reptiles. And on the other hand, also be skeptical of any advice on how to take care of snakes or fish from a channel that focuses mainly on, and their experience mainly is with tarantulas and scorpions. Care tips from an established tarantula keeper with years or even decades of experience that only has maybe 1,000 subscribers is much more valuable than the care tips from someone that's only been keeping a few years that may have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I guess what I'm saying is to not mistake entertainment for education. And while searching for care and husbandry information online, especially on YouTube, we need to keep an eye out for unintentional misinformation. Now, I don't think anyone out there is purposely putting out bad information, but we are all human, we all make mistakes. In some cases, it's just an old video, and it's bad husbandry that at the time the video was recorded was considered to be good husbandry, or the acceptable way of doing things. And some people just find bad information online and perpetuate that misinformation by making videos based on whatever it is they read, not realizing that it's out of date or just not the way to do things. People mistake the care and husbandry for reptiles to be the exact same as it would be for tarantulas, scorpions, or other invertebrates. I mean, just because someone is in front of a camera does not make them an expert, and I am also talking about me. So those are the problems, but how do we find reliable information online? Well, the first thing I'd suggest is to just disregard the amount of subscribers a channel has. I mean, the subscriber count is essentially meaningless. Sometimes channels with the higher subscriber counts are a lot less reliable than channels with a very low subscriber count. I mean, entertainment is exciting and fun, and everybody wants to see that. Sometimes education is dry and boring, and maybe people aren't so apt to subscribe and be alerted every time a new educational video comes out. And you need to find a reliable balance between the amount of views a video has and the amount of time it's been on the platform. Be sure to read the comments, especially sorting by the most recent comments, to see if people are generally reacting positively or negatively to the information. You could also ask on different Facebook groups or arachnid message boards for people to suggest channels that are known for having great husbandry advice. And most importantly, no one and done research. Always utilize multiple resources when determining how best to keep your pet, whether it's a scorpion, arachnid, a snake, whatever it is. There's no one-stop shop when it comes to husbandry advice. The more information you have, the better care you'll be able to give your animal. So utilize multiple resources. Always compare and contrast differences. Research is defined by the systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. So no one source should be the be-all, end-all when it comes to information. Just utilize that as one piece of the puzzle. That's the husbandry from that person's angle, from their perspective and their experience. Someone else may have a different opinion or a different theory or way of going about doing things, and the two ideas together may create an idea or a scenario that's perfect for the situation you find yourself in when it comes to caring for your animal, or tarantula, or whatever it is. So now you've gathered this information from multiple sources. How do you use it? Well, the first step is to make sure that you truly understood what it is you saw and heard, and you didn't confuse it with what you wanted to see or hear. Sometimes we need to let go of our preconceptions and forget what we think we knew if what we knew is no longer applicable to the situation. And we need to understand that care and husbandry is an ever-evolving practice. What is acceptable 10 years ago is not acceptable now. And 10 years ago, what was acceptable 20 years ago wouldn't have been acceptable then. As we learn and grow in this hobby, we develop new strategies and learn new things about these species and how best to keep them in captivity. So we always need to be open-minded and willing to learn and revise what we know if we want to provide the best care possible. We have to be open-minded and adapt. And we also need to be sure that we're supporting the channels and sources of information that we find to be reliable. We can do that by liking, subscribing, sharing the content, leaving comments. Anything that kind of feeds that algorithm and helps those videos rank higher in search overall is going to benefit the entire hobby, because hopefully all that interaction and engagement on the videos you find helpful will assist them in ranking higher in search results than the older videos with out-of-date information. And we also need to take into consideration the differences in the environments that the creators who make these videos are living in. I mean, the exact husbandry, the way I take care of my tarantulas here in my basement in the hills of West Virginia may be slightly different than someone who's keeping their collection on the top floor of a house in the desert of Arizona. And both of those would be different than how someone keeps theirs in a shack out back in the UK or living in the Philippines in their living room. There's all kinds of differences in elevation and humidity, ambient room temperature. There's all kinds of variables that might come into play when we're dealing with creating an environment inside of an enclosed space, which is why it's so important to pull information from multiple sources and use that base of knowledge to create a husbandry and a care guide that works best for you. So be open-minded, be adaptable. Remember that as you progress in the hobby and as the hobby progresses as a whole, the information and the best care is going to change. And we need to be willing to change our habits and change the way we care for these different types of species so that we're giving them the best possible life and the best possible care. It's really easy to get stuck in a rut and develop a habit and just want to continue heading down that road, completely ignoring any advancements or new understandings, because this is what's comfortable for us. It's always worked, so it will always work. But when it comes to the care and husbandry of living animals, it's not just about what works, it's about what works best, what gives them their best life. And it's our responsibilities as their caretakers to make sure that we're doing that. So we need to be wary of creators that refuse to evolve and grow as new information becomes available, as well as those that refuse to acknowledge and correct their mistakes. I mean, everybody makes mistakes. We're all human. I've made plenty of mistakes myself. And you guys have been very helpful and kind enough to call me out on those mistakes in the comments down below my videos. I mean, it's very easy to just misspeak and relay information that's outdated or just plain wrong. I remember in one of my videos, I said that a tarantula was able to double clutch, which is true. A tarantula was able to do that. But I misspoke when I said it could produce another sac even after a molt, which is not true. That was bad information. Once a tarantula molts, it's not able to produce a sac from the last time it was paired. And someone pointed that out in the comments below the video, and I was sure to address that in the next video I made that touched on that topic. But sometimes as creators and just as human beings, we mistake our feelings for facts and we portray our opinions as hard and simple truths, which is rarely the case. So any channel that is refusing to correct those mistakes and keeps perpetuating the same misinformation is a channel that probably shouldn't be relied on for accurate advice. I am going to make mistakes, and your favorite creators are going to make mistakes. But give us a chance to correct our missteps and do better moving forward. Don't completely cancel and throw someone away because of one mistake, but also don't hold someone in such high regard that you refuse to believe they could ever make a mistake, and that everything they say is truth. But most importantly, be responsible for your own actions. Do your own research. And be careful putting your favorite creators on a pedestal, because we're all human and eventually we're gonna let you down. It does no one any good to have unrealistic expectations of perfection, because it simply won't happen. So just keep an open mind and have a healthy amount of skepticism with every video you watch on YouTube telling you exactly how to take care of a specific species. And I am including my own videos at the top of that list. When I make a care video, I'm not telling you what you should do, I'm simply telling you how I do it. But there's also a lot of great creators out there, a lot more good creators than there are bad creators, that are putting out top of the line care and husbandry information that's really up to date. But sometimes you really gotta dig to find those channels because they don't have hundreds of thousands or millions of subscribers. Some of them haven't even crossed 1,000 subs yet. So don't just watch one video, even if it's one of my videos, and assume that you know everything on the topic. What you can do as a viewer, if you find a video that you think was very helpful, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe to that creator. If you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, leave a comment. All of this will help get this information put out there so that new keepers can find it much easier. If you want to see all of my care and husbandry videos to use as a starting point for your own husbandry journey, just check out this playlist right here. And if you want to catch up on all the past episodes of Tarantula Tuesday, check out this playlist right here. Well, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for buying Tarantula Collective merchandise, and I will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, you still sticking here with me, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you.